Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your Uncle Oski here. How you doing today? Let's go for another walk. Dude, you know, there are certain things that you just see day by day that sometimes you don't even, like, process because it's just so, I don't know, like, matter-of-factly or so. Like, I really don't know how to articulate it, but I'm just looking around and I'm watching more and more, desperation from everyday people for money because the economy just keeps getting worse and worse. Whether anyone actually wants to admit it or not, I mean, take a look around, see how much more expensive things are getting. Yes, the stock market keeps going up and up and up, but if you really look at the price of the things that you need, like shit is going up, dude. Stuff is going up. Uh, it's making everyday living more and more expensive, and as things keep going up in price, I mean, let's have a heart to heart here, Junior. Uh, I know most people understand this, but there's some few people who are stuck in the delusion. Uh, as things get more expensive, one, they're not going to come back down. That's just not how things work. It's not. It's not like what. Typically, once something gets to a certain price, like it's gonna stay like that. And secondly, we all know for a goddamn fact that these companies that employ us, you think they're gonna pay you, give you a raise high enough for you to keep up with this? They're not. They're really not. Like, I mean, shit. Just my last raise last year, I'm pretty sure like the inflation rate has already surpassed the rate that I got for my raise. You know what I mean? So it's like I basically didn't even get a rate. Like I have the same buying power, pretty much. I almost even less. I'm pretty sure because it surpassed it. So that's cool, dude. I love that. I love getting a raise and then taking a look around, watching all my bills go up, all my expenses go up, and my buying power is worth less. I love that shit. These companies are not going to pay us enough to keep up with this, right? So what do we do then? What do we do? Short of a full-on revolution, ain't not shit gonna change, right? So here's what we do. Here's what I see. What I see is more and more people getting desperate for money and making sacrifices and changes. And part of that is good, part of that is bad. I see a lot of people cutting back on unnecessary bullshit, right? But that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about, is stuff like the increase of like gig jobs and like second part-time jobs. You know, like as someone who grew up in a household that struggled for money, I'm used to seeing my mom and my dad both work second jobs. I mean, there was a point in time where like my dad had two full-time jobs. Like it was horrendous to the point like now my dad's like 68. He can barely walk on his right knee. His right knee's fucked. And it's a crying shame, but he did it all to support his family. You know, because that was his role as the father of the household, you know. So mad respect to him, but what I'm talking about now is that I'm seeing people in the middle to upper middle class getting second jobs. Like, it used to be like, oh, if you had, what I used to notice, right, are people like my parents where they worked, my parents always had shitty jobs. And by shitty, I mean like low paying jobs. So they always had to get some sort of second job to do, right? But I'm in a situation now where I'm even looking around like, hey, maybe I need to start like door dashing or finding a second part-time job here. And I'm making good money, or what used to be considered good money, like, you know, upper, you know, around the 65 to 70K range. You know, I don't have any kids. I live by myself, yada yada. Like that used to be good, and now it's like I'm doing all right. I'm getting by, but I need more cushioning because I need more money to save, more money to give myself some breathing space here so I don't choke in case anything would ever happen to my job. And what I'm noticing is that a lot more people I know and a lot more people I see are starting to get these second jobs. Like whenever I see like a DoorDasher bring me food, or I don't really DoorDash that much, but whenever I see someone pull up to my friend's house and they're pulling up in a nice car DoorDashing, I'm like, there's no way this is your main job. This is definitely your second job, and it's a crying shame that you even need this second job here. You know, like take a look at, dude, forget even the gig jobs and then like the second part-time jobs, dude. I don't know about you guys, right? But if I go to my local Walmart, like, anyone else feel like you see older and older people working now? Like, I'll see someone who's like, looks like 75, and they are just hustling at the Walmart. And I'm just like, damn, dude, like, why are you working? I want to, like, at your age, I want to be either dead or like retired. And like, here's the thing, right? Like, I understand I'll probably be like this, where I'll probably end up working part-time for most of my life, even after I quote-unquote retire, because I'm just a busybody. Like, I need to be doing something. Who knows what life's going to be like when it comes to like Social Security, 401ks in the future. Who fucking knows, right? But just seeing all these old people still working, essentially working until death. This is a corporate dream, right? This is what they want, whatever you want to define as they, whether it's corporations, big business, the government even, right? Like, this is what they want, and it's what they're getting. I mean, more and more I go out and I see people who have no business with the bodies that they have and the age that they're at to still be working. But a lot of people do, because Social Security, 401ks, like, these things are not enough for people anymore. Things are too expensive. They cannot live off that money anymore. And I mean, good God, man, like, if let's say you're doing construction in like your 30s and 40s, that shit'll wreck you, right? But that's part of the job. But like, imagine you go through, pretty much your entire adulthood working, and your body's broken down. Mentally, you're just drained, and you finally get to retire, and then you realize my retirement is impossible because I don't have enough money to just even live anymore off my retirement. So what do? You go back to work, and you work until you fucking die. And that is the economy / lifestyle that we are seeing right now in the USA. I don't know how it is over in Europe. I can't speak for other countries, but this is just what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing people way too old to work still working. And that has to be for a reason. Are there some busybodies who are just bored as hell being retired and want to work part-time? Yeah, I imagine so, but it can't be all of them. It definitely cannot be all of them. And something that's also really, really, really fucked up is when you see two things working with such synergy that you can't help but feel like I am witnessing true evil, true forces coming together and just creating just unreal evil, right? You have a struggling economy for workers. You have things getting more expensive, and then you have things like gambling. And the machine, the advertisement machine, the big business machine, pushes out gambling and makes it so easy to gamble that you have people risking it all just so they can either hit it big and not have to worry ever again, or make enough money to to keep going, to keep their life going. But it's we all know how gambling can turn into a black hole. Just like any addiction, at the complete end of gambling is a black hole. It's a black hole for your money. It's a black hole for your family. It's a black hole for everything, right? So it's just so crazy to see how many people end up just... It's one thing if you're filthy fucking rich and you're like, yeah, I'm a gamble. Yeah, maybe I'll lose $1 million, because they don't care about $1 million. Like $1 million is nothing to them. But you have average everyday people who are struggling, and they decide, oh, maybe I can gamble and make some more money, and maybe I can get some help here. You have more and more average people betting big on sports. Are they winning big? Some of them. Some of them are, but like you are not you're not a streamer. Like you're not someone who's sponsored by all these gambling things and get some favorability from them. You know what I mean? Like it is not worth the risks of going down that rabbit hole. You know, and then I see more and more people spending I mean, you want to talk about gambling? The amount of people I see spending more and more and more money on lottery tickets, hoping to win the Mega Millions. More and more people buying scratch-offs. I mean, you guys ever in a line at, like, I don't know, a 7-Eleven or a gas station, whatever, and the person in front of you is just getting like 10 different scratch-offs, and you're just like, good God almighty, I just want to buy this shitty gas station coffee and be on my way. Can you please hurry up? And people are dropping huge money on these scratch-offs just to try to win, to try to hit it big and get some relief from all this debt that everyone's in, or just try to get a cushion here. And again, because it's basically gambling to me, but for this case, we're just going to count it as something different. Like, it's just going to lead you down a different rabbit hole. And then once you spend all this money on these scratch-offs and you don't win anything, guess what? You didn't make any money, and you're still struggling, and now you have less money. Like, this, it's just insane. And then, obviously, we all know the desperation for money, poverty, its biggest drawback for our society as a whole is the increase in crime. Like, man, as someone who's lived around and in poverty for a majority of their childhood, it's a breeding ground for crime. It leads to increase in drug use, increase in robberies, violent crimes. You know, it's all types of bad here, man. The thing is, right, when it comes to poverty-stricken places, like, it's usually pretty contained. Like, if you live in a big city, you know which part of town I'm talking about. If you live in the suburbs, shit, you still might know where I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, we all have those towns in our states where you're just like, yeah, that place, it's super poor and it's super crime ridden. Like, we all know what I'm talking about when I say this, right? And all this comes down to just the desperation of money. And now, with how bad the economy is getting for a lot of people, like, the middle class is shrinking. Like, most of us are not shooting up. Most of us are shooting down. Like, we're all inching ever closer to that poverty line. And that desperation makes us go way too hard at work. And we overload ourselves mentally and physically, and we break ourselves down. A lot of us are going to keep working until the day we die, and we'll probably die an early death from working too much. So that's cool. I love that. And it leads people to do more risky shit, like gambling and lotto tickets, and then they go down that rabbit hole, and then ultimately we're going to see an increase in crime because everyone's too goddamn poor, and everyone's going to just... people will just turn to crime. Because that's just the way things go, man. And you know, this desperation for money is just wrecking us. It really is wrecking us. But we don't really have a choice because we can only do with what we got. And if what we got is our bodies is an able body, then we're gonna use this able body to go work even more. And it's just super sad to watch because a lot of us are just surviving out here. We're not living, and you know, we only get one life, and most of us are going to throw it away just trying to survive working when we have all this abundance around. It really is a crying fucking shame, man. But I'm going to end it here before it gets any more depressing. I don't know how much more depressing it can get than the last, 14 minutes. I guess I could go, you know what, let me stop here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. Until our next walk, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.